Well, a new local stage production tackles a poignant and sometimes humorous story of life in a group home for men with cognitive disabilities. Here to tell us more is Sarah Boone, Executive Director of Theater Jacksonville. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
We're also joined by cast member Greg Hewitt, who plays Mr. Klemper in the
Good
show.
morning.
Good morning, Mr. Klemper.
Thank you.
This is a challenging production, Greg. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about, first of all, how you got involved and what your role is vis a vis the other characters.
Yeah, certainly. I relocated to Jacksonville just under 3 years ago. Reached out to the theater immediately to help volunteer. Was fortunate to get cast in a production in the 103rd season,
Mhm.
and this is now my fourth production. The community at Theater Jacksonville has just been amazing. They do a great work from a volunteer standpoint, very supportive. Um, really excited when they put a show on like this just because of the group that comes together to build the set and the costumes. It's really, really phenomenal.
And tell us a little bit about this show and what your character is.
Certainly, yeah. So the show itself, The Boys Next Door, uh, focuses on a home of men who are mentally challenged and the social worker that helps them get through their daily lives. My particular character is Mr. Klemper. So my son is in the house, in the home. He's one of the boys next door. And I come and visit, and we have a very traumatic interaction, let's say,
Yeah, you have a difficult relationship,
yeah,
which is sort of intertwined with his mental illness.
that we uncover that throughout that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sarah, I want to ask you about staging a production like this because obviously the characters are portraying people with cognitive disabilities. That could be a very dicey um, idea
Right.
if not executed correctly and thoughtfully. So how do you approach it and how did you go about trying to find the correct cast?
Sure. So every year we think about putting a show into the season that deals with an issue, a social issue. So that's where this show falls in our season this year. And we've actually produced it since in my tenure. We have done this show before,
Okay.
and it was a very successful event for us. And one of the actors in the show, his name was Brad Trowbridge, and he played one of the lead characters. And he has since passed on, and he gave us a legacy gift. So we're doing this then in honor of Brad's legacy at the theater because he was an actor in this community for many years back
Mm.
to the 80s. So that's the reason that it got put in the season. But we also want to talk about um, people in a way that is supportive and people who have challenges. They may be different. But, all of us are different from each other. No one is lesser. So that's how we go forward with this play. And it's a snapshot into the lives of these men. And there's a lot of humor in it. And we are, everybody has their foibles and everybody is treated with respect and dignity. And that's why this show works.
And I know that over the years that this show has been in production, and it may be true from your last production to this current one, that interpretations have changed. Certainly, our sensibilities
Mhm.
have changed. Our awareness of certain ideas surrounding cognitive disabilities or mental health have changed. Do you find that the characterization of the men in the group home is different than it was when you staged it the first time?
I think so, yes. Yes, it is. And we we are very, very cognizant of of the society now. And again, and it's a better place. We're in a better place now in how we talk about different things in our society, and we did approach it differently. And again, I keep using these words respect and dignity, and that is how all of these characters are represented. And then when Mr. Klimper comes in, we see an issue. We see how society can look differently and not in a good way and what happens because of that. And we want all of these people to succeed. And that's the key to this play is and that's why Jack, the social worker, is in there, giving them support every time one of them stumbles, and he's there to help them, and they're there to help each other.
But you're kind of the evil Mr. Klemper, is that right?
Well, that's fair to say, but
Typecasting,
well,
right?
perhaps. But he does have his own issues he's dealing with, and some of that does come out in the characterization because I think all characters, even if they're evil, they do have some.
Complexity.
Yeah, so it's not just the evil part that we get to see.
And what do you reach for in yourself as you're presenting that on stage as the character?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a moment that he snaps, and so I just try to think about moments where that's happened to me. Maybe not as violently, but certainly you have that moment where you look back and wow, I
Right.
wish that hadn't occurred,
Mhm.
and then what drove me to that point. But one thing I do want to add to what Sarah was saying, the playwright itself has done a great job of showing these characters as people like all of us that just have aspirations. And as you're watching it, you forget that they're challenged necessarily, but they're just trying to
Right.
improve or do things. And it's a really wonderful play.
Because they're not treated as they're not
Right.
treated as other.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of this play, and every one of those characters has a journey, just like all the characters in the plays that we do.
And this opens this Friday.
Friday,
Yeah,
yes,
and runs through
a
the
3
23rd?
weekends,
3
yes. So
weekends.
it's
Okay.
Friday and Saturday, and then Thursday through Sunday, Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
2
Well,
weeks.
Sarah Boone, Greg Hewitt, Break a Leg.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Pleasure.